Per usual, the weather here in Miami is glorious, a lot of rain, and we don't really want to put our freshly sanded baby out in the rain and also the sun, because the sun can damage the epoxy. So we've got Fiona found a cover that hopefully will fit this. So I'm going to try to put that on, and if it fits, then we're going to throw this on some sawhorses out back, and I'll get to work on the painting the box. I put it on inside out. Take two. It is painting day, and we're gonna have the teardrop painted in a auto body shop by a professional. And the reason we're doing this is we just don't really trust our painting abilities, and given how much work we put into it, we want it to really look good. And we also talked to the guys from Chesapeake Lightcraft, and they had coated their demo teardrop with a auto body UV clear coat, and it came out really good. It had a nice like thick finish, and it looked fantastic. So we decided to do that at auto body shop, but for the box, we're going to do that ourselves. So we're going to use Total Boat paint, which we've used in the past on our past projects with great results. So we're going to start here with the a white topside primer, and we'll put a link to the specific paint that we're using in the video below if you want to use the same type of stuff. And then we're just going to use this is a 1 part polyurethane white, and the primer is also white. So I've sanded the box down to, I think, around 220 to 300 grit. It's pretty smooth. I went ahead and mixed up some epoxy with a little bit of filler and just kind of filled. There were some big cracks in the plywood. This is AC ply, so it has one side is A, which means it's really good, and one side is C, which is not so good. So we have the A side on the inside because that's the side that the drawer is going to rub on, and so the outside here is the C side, which is a little, has more imperfections. So just going in here with some resin and just filling this in to make it smooth. Had to do a little bit of work here, just filling up these joints so when the teardrop sits, it's nice and flush, and no water gets in. I've also had some questions, people saying they're really worried about water getting in this forward bit. I hadn't mentioned before that we had put some fillets in here, so all these compartments are totally waterproof at the seams. So hopefully that'll keep all the water out. But yeah, so we're ready to go for this sanding, and we'll start putting some paint on this thing. Well, we've got the underside of the box here. We flipped it over after doing the primer on the top side, and we put some primer on the bottom side here last night, let it cure overnight, and I just hit it with some 320. And overall, it looks really good. We came through a little bit on the wood here and there, but not too bad. It's really smooth. It's sanded really well, which is always a good thing. Sometimes with primers I've had, and it's probably from me doing it wrong, but I had like the primer like start to flake up, but overall this looks really, really good, even for someone as inexperienced as me. And so now that we've got it sanded, it's time to put the first coat of the actual paint down here. I'll probably do 2 coats on the underside, because this is going to take a lot of rocks and road debris is going to fly up into this. So I really want this to be as beefy as possible. There's epoxy on the base level, then the primer, then the paint. So I think that should be enough for it, hopefully, fingers crossed. So we're going to go ahead and do this now, and then probably let that paint dry overnight just to really let it kick well, and then I'm going to flip it right side up and do the rest of it, and then we'll be done painting the box, and we're going to get the teardrop painted, and then we'll be ready to put these together for the final time.
We're back from the paint place. We went to an auto body shop and got it clear coat sprayed and put some white on there. And we were hoping to be able to film there, but the guy didn't want to be on camera, which is understandable. So we didn't, but we brought it back, and here it is. It's kind of hard to see with the shadows in the sun, but we've got clear all up the top. It's super nice and shiny, and now it's protected, so I don't mind having it in the sun anymore, which is really awesome. And then at the bottom here, we've got some white all the way around. And then around that other side too, here. So she's looking good. She or he, we've got to decide. In here, we've got white also, and this isn't mounted in yet, but this is clear, and then white in the back. We've got to put the hatch springs in so that this can open and close. So we've still got a bunch of hardware to add. We've got a fan to add in here. Do you like it? Wonder how this could have happened to our roof rack mounting block. Could it be this animal? Bowie, why did you do that for? Why did you do that?
Here is our storage box with the paint all dry. It came out really good. It's a little dirty because I had some stuff on there. We didn't do the inside because it was really difficult, and we didn't really want paint on paint, but you can see we've got these little sliders here that we epoxied in. These are what the drawers actually run on to make it nice and low friction. But yeah, the paint came out really good. It feels very durable, and it came out so good we decided to do our storage boxes with paint on the interior too. So we've gone ahead and primed those up and got the paint in there. We only did one coat. It seems all we needed, and then we left the outside of the boxes wood, and the bottom of the boxes wood also, so we have wood on the interior instead of paint on paint. We thought this would be lower friction. Fiona installed our roof racks here. They look fantastic. They can take about 150 pounds of weight, and we're going to use them for solar panels, and we're going to try to get the configuration right so you can still open this vent, the vent fan in the roof. So we'll look forward to that. But for now, we got the outside of the Teardrop, as we kind of showed you before, sprayed with a UV car coat, but they were unable to do the interior. What we're going to do is we're going to varnish the interior, and so we're going to kind of walk you through how we're going to tackle this. For our varnish, we're going to use Total Boat Gleam 2.0. This is a really versatile varnish, and it sets up really fast so you can put new coats on really quickly, which just makes the whole process a little bit less painful. We've got some thinner here that we'll put a little bit in. We don't have to use too much of this because we already have epoxy down on the wood on the inside. If there was no epoxy, we'd probably want to put more of this on so that it would make the varnish a little thinner, and then it could absorb, say if we're looking down here at the grain, you'd want that material to kind of get into the grain and seal it up. But since we've already done that with epoxy, we won't need to use too much of this. We also got some of this. This is a cool new product from Total Boat. It's a water-based varnish in a bag, which I've never seen before. And we're going to experiment with this a little bit. It's pretty cool. Apparently it goes off really quick. It's really easy to work with. So I could see a lot of fun uses for that in the future. But for the Gleam 2.0, once we get in there and start working, you got to move really fast with varnish, especially in an environment that's so hot, like here in Miami. So we're going to do two methods. The first is we're going to take just a regular foam brush, and we're going to brush on the varnish in areas that have kind of weird shapes, hard to reach places.
Beyond that, we're going to do what's called a roll and tip technique, and we learned this last year while building the expedition canoes with CLC. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have the varnish here in our roller. We're going to saturate our foam brush here so it's kind of uniform, and then we're going to quickly roll the varnish on the surface uniformly. Nice big strokes, get the whole area that we're interested in covered, and then we're going to come in with our brush and very gently just tip out all the little air bubbles and get it sort of uniform. And we're going to do that. We're going to work really quickly so that none of the varnish kicks while we're doing it, and hopefully if we do our job right with the tipping, we'll get a really nice uniform coverage and it'll look really good.